So I'm just about to go upstairs here at Grassworks, where 139 people died in a flood in mid-May, May 16th, 1874. So every day we get to be here because they gave their lives. You know, they didn't know that the flood was coming, and they begged people, the French Canadian, the Quebecois, and the Irish immigrants that really kept after the owners. Please. I mean, you want your work, and you're probably afraid to speak up in a million ways, and they died. And this is a Haydenville, and upriver is Williamsburg. This is the village of Haydenville with the town of Williamsburg. But there was Skinnerville, but there is no Skinnerville anymore. This is the only building that was rebuilt. Those were wiped out. And this is what happens. It's like you can do kind things like get people work and not be so cruel, like Trump and Stephen Miller and Russell Vought are doing every day, and Netanyahu are doing every day. It's like whoever taught us that some tribe, some country, some people were more important than another. That's the heartbreak of this country, and Trump is just trying to reenact that and make it like a whites only country, And it's sad. He'll make the exception. He'll meet some wonderful, rich, dark-skinned person, and he'll be okay. And he'll be charming for a second or two or three, because everybody wants to be understood and get along and be loved. But then if you won't, it's totally transactional. If you won't give him what he wants, he'll just totally turn on you. And Trump was not born to be that way. See where it says restore PEPFAR? Because we don't know how many folks have died, how many thousands and thousands of folks have died for not getting the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief that was started by George W. Bush in 2003. And way, way, way more. It's like there's if you go to Harvard website, Harvard EDU, they have like a professor who works with Harvard, the Chan School of Public Health, and also works with Brigham and Women's Hospital. And he's been like an assistant to directors at USAID. And the November 5th article he has in the New Yorker, it says how 600,000 people, 2/3 of them are kids, so 400,000 children, 600,000 total between when Trump took office and November 5th New Yorker article coming out. And it cites a bunch of things from The Lancet, the very respected British publication, The Lancet. So go and find it out, and that's maybe a unifying thing. If you're fighting with someone who thinks that you're just buying on fake news, see if they could find a way to believe that it's really happening. These hundreds of thousands of people that just keep dying and dying and dying, and they're people that are just as sacred and amazing as you or anybody else ever on the planet. It'll just feel better talking to your kids and grandkids from now that you stood up for saving people's lives, right? Because the heartbreak, this woman was shot to death, and she was a citizen. She wasn't even she was probably just standing up and just, or behind the seat of her car, and somebody from ICE just shot her to death, and all the local officials are saying, no, it's not what the federal, it's not what Trump, it's not what Kristi Noem, it's not what what Kash Patel are saying. It's like, no, it did not go down that way, and you want to be a witness. That's one of the many ways you can live with yourself and live in your skin, because you want to be fair. You were taught to be decent and fair and compassionate, and it's like Trump is just doing a whole, like as if he's a mob boss, or just like, what was it, Matt Taibbi with the vampire squid sucking at, well, sorry, I just got sad because I thought of all these wonderful octopuses that are under such salt. And if you look into that, all the traps for octopuses in the Sea Shepherd Society there. Anyway, just healing love light to this and every other earth, and every earthling on every earth, and whether you're rock or ice or anything in any galaxy, the second you address anything. There, we just lost Bill Moyers, and his interviews, they'll remind you of so many indigenous friends. It'll be just like when you when you think of it, what you thought was an it, if you think of it as a thou, suddenly you just can't go, your consciousness changed, and that's what I'm praying for everybody who's okay with killing off people, everybody who's like living against their own conscience and their own moral compass. If it's a representative, a senator, all these Congress people that are breaking their own families' hearts every day, they must be so scared. So send them inspiration so they'll get courageous, so they'll want to stand up for everyone on earth. Thank you, everyone, because everyone is some child of a mother, that we're all from that love light. Everyone you'll ever meet is all from a love light. Look, there you go, bag from the co-op. That's where I'm just blessed to come from now. And you wish every neighborhood had a co-op, and you wish every neighborhood that had a co-op could put something like a queer sing-along or LGBTQIA dance party, and put it up on the co-op bulletin board, whatever red state they're in, and not fear for their lives, So just look for the sacred baby, look for the toddler, look for the amazing kindness in whoever you're interacting with, even if they've been really mean to a lot of people. Just picture the part of them that is gentle. Like, who makes them gentle? Like, what member of their family, or what dog, what grandkid, their sweetheart, their parent, their cousins, who do they feel really tender and open-hearted towards? And just picture that about them growing and expanding towards folks they've been taught to be scared of and hate, Nobody's born to hate. So feel the joy of choosing not to be a bully. And we love you, whoever you might be. And I'm scared to death to notice that everybody's so lovable 100 times a day, but then I swim back a second or two later and just, it's like, okay, it's worth loving folks instead of being scared to death.